Coming this morning to a nice little delivery from my mate John. He had this in part exchange and offered it to me. A Dacia Duster, so it's a proper four-wheel drive one with the 1.5 DCI engine, which you increasingly hear me talk about, which it goes across so many brands and so many cars. Really good little engine, really good little engine. Now obviously the last Dacia we had, 2014, like this, absolutely flew out the door. This one will probably be a little bit more expensive, but not much more. It is the perfect runaround for here, absolute perfect runaround for if you do need the 4x4, because lower price 4x4s, there's not many of them about. This is a really low cost one to run as well. It looks bodywork wise like there isn't any paint to do. I mean, it's a bit untidy on the back edge of the bumper here, but there's new ones of these I can get that go over the edge and we'll tidy that up and actually be a benefit to the next owner. There's a little bit of trim to fix down the bottom there, but the rest of the paint seems alright. It needs a good buff, but you're seeing it at the same time as I am, to be fair. I've literally just walked in. It's a bit grubby, but then these are the type of cars that people use, aren't they? 105,000 miles. So actually no, I don't think it will be more expensive than the other one. I think this will still be like, I'm saying it's going to probably be about £4,000, I think this. Something like 3,995 once it's all tied up. What have we got spec wise? There you go. You've got option of two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. We've got all-round electric windows. What's on the home page here?
Regular price £4.50.
Oh, we've got sat nav. Yeah, so we've got sat nav. So we'll have Bluetooth as well, no doubt. Somewhere here, yeah, we've got Bluetooth. Have we got cruise on this one? Yeah, might have cruise. Yeah, we have got cruise control. Yeah, 'cause we've got the button down there and the button's up here. This nice spec one. How does it start? Cold start. This is the risky bit. I did it on John's word because he's a good guy. So let's just see. Cold start. Sweet as a nut. Sometimes these get a little bit of vibration on start up. Like, you know, they can be a bit hard starters sometimes. Not as in they start hard, they just start with a little bit of engine vibration. 6-speed box. It's a nice bonus as well. Give you that bit of economy when you're doing. Clutch is nice. Like I say, John is a top guy. We do quite a lot of business together. Proper straight guy. He'd never knowingly dump something on me. He does high-end stuff, so he doesn't want to get involved in things like this. All his stuff is normally 10 grand plus. He's got a really good local business that people know him and come to him for cars. And he normally knows the cars he's taken in as well. He's normally aware of the cars that are being part exchange, which is a big bonus as well. Not sure the service history is on this one. Dig it out. That drives nice. I wouldn't take it for a longer run, of course, but gearbox is nice, clutch is nice. Just showing we're not slightly just under the 100,000. You know what people get like about 100,000. It's like at 99.999 they suddenly fall apart, isn't it? But yeah, it'll be a cheap runabout for someone. I'm going to hang on to this kind of stuff at the moment with the sort of people being a bit hesitant at the moment with the budget and money being talked about quite a lot. This kind of market is always buoyant. There's always someone with a car that's broken down and they just want a sub 5k car. So we'll tuck it over in the I better get around to it soon pile. I forgot to check the history on this. It's only one previous owner and it's a full service history. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19, 21, 23, cam belt kit at 21. So cam belt and water pump's been done on it. 24, 15th of the 8th, 24. So it's not even due a service. I've got some fantastic invoices here as well. Auxiliary belt replaced. We've got rear wheel cylinders for the rear brakes. Prop shaft has been replaced, I think. Wheel cylinder, yeah, prop shaft, it goes onto another bill there. Prop shaft bushing that is, sorry, it's been replaced. What else we've got here? That's the cam belt one. What's that? Got the rear shock absorbers that have been noted there have now been replaced. Yeah, really good service history on that. I'm well chuffed with this purchase. Well chuffed. I said he knew the car, he's been servicing it. Brilliant, love it. So Polo, just about to drop the Polo down to the lady. I've pulled it outside, given it another clean. I keep going around this thing and seeing more and more bits I'd like to do. But obviously we did a deal where she was going to buy it in the condition it's at now. She obviously had seen it after I machine polished it, touched in the paint. The only thing I brought it back here for to do was the headliner, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, as I go around, I keep thinking, I'd like to do that bit and I'd like to do that bit, but she wants the car and she's keen to get in it and she's happy with it as is. So I've got to make sure I don't end up giving myself more work. Obviously the paint looks a million times better than it did when we first got the car. So headliner, how's that come out? Now they folded the fabric, as I said, which did mean it wasn't going to be totally crease free, but looks a darn sight better than sagging. I went dark because I realised I was going to be doing it inside in the workshop, and if I'd gone for a light one, it would have been, I just got to tuck that bit up there, it would have been covered in marks by the time I've done it. And this dark colour does tie in with the door cards there and the fabric. All the handles and so forth have gone back in again, and they have actually tightened it all up where it was a little bit loose around some of these bits up here. They've tightened up quite nicely. I'm not going to turn around and say I'm some flipping upholsterer. Of course I'm not. This cost me 40 quid in fabric, and about, to be honest, it would, if it wasn't for the way that they fitted these together, it would have only taken me an hour or so, but in the end it's taken me about 3 hours. I think I'm into this. We're going to run the numbers on this one. I'll show you the profits and so forth. I'll do a little bit for that in a bit. I've got probably a day in this car, and then I paid Craig to do a day of machine polishing on it. So if you put those two today, it's about £200 plus the MOT work, and we're selling for 3.7, I think, against Auto Trader's recommended of 4. So like, I'll run the numbers and we'll see where we are with it. Obviously the other thing I did was paint the bonnet, so that's been done, and the coat of lacquer has taken out a lot of the scratch, and obviously the bonnet's the first thing you see on the car when you come up to the front of it. So I don't know why why it's so light. Anyway, yeah, so the bonnet's the first thing you can't see when you come up to the car, so having that looking better was worthwhile. And there'd been a big rust patch in there as well. Again, like I'm saying, I'm not going to say I'm a professional painter, I'm not going to say I'm a professional upholsterer. What I've done is taken an old car that looked absolutely awful and tidied it right up to a point where the customer's really excited to be getting it. And I can't understand why my exposure is so high. There we go. Don't know what I've done there. But yeah, so yeah, she's happy. Like I say, I could have easily spent another day painting bits and bobs, but at the end of the day, no one's probably going to pay me the extra money for it on a car like this. So let's get it down to her. Now, while I was finishing that off, a lady came along and has put a deposit down on the Hyundai i20. Now, she wanted a part exchange a Citroen DS with the 1.4 Pure Tech in it, a 2016 with 60,000 miles. Now, big issue is she hadn't had the cam belt done yet. So I said to her, and it was a really nice special edition, really nice looking car, had a full service history, but didn't have the cam belt done. And the alloys were really, the lacquer peel had come off the alloys. So we're going to have to do alloy refurb, we're going to have to do a cam belt. So I showed her what the trade price for it was in good condition with a full history. But I said I'm going to have to knock at least 300 off for the cam belt. I'm going to have to knock 2 off for the alloys, because even if I do them, it's going to be a good, nearly a full day's work to do all the alloys nicely. So that's going to be at least easy another 200 quid. And she said she wanted more for her car, so she's going to go away and sell it private. And I said, well, obviously, at the end of the day, if you sell it privately, you don't no legal obligation if you talk about the cam belt at all, so you don't have to factor that in. And obviously, there's no comeback for you, so by all means do. And I've given her 7 days to do that, to sell the car. We've agreed a 7-day window for her to sell the car. If she doesn't sell it with that, she loses the £100, or she comes and buys the car and part exchanges it. So obviously £100 is here nor there to me, really. It's not going to be about keeping the deposit is going to make me a profit. It's about going to cover the next advert for if I put it back on Auto Trader again. I was hoping to put this Dacia straight up for sale after Craig did the valet yesterday, but looking at it, we've got some really dull paint here that needs a machine polish, and like I said, inside the door jambs, it needs some touch-ups down the edge of the door there as well. I need to sort that bit of plastic out there. I need to sort the bit out on the back of the bumper here. Again, I'm not going to try and make it 100% mint because it's probably a 3995er, I would say. Get some ultra on these plastics, but it's going to be worth spending that extra bit of time. There was half of me said, look, just put it out really cheap, just put it out like 3495 or even like 3295, just as it is, because by the time I've done all that, I'll have an easy another day into it. And realistically, I should be 500 quid on a day, something like that. So I did wonder about that, but I just think it's hard for people when it comes to cars. There's not many people out there. I know you comment every now and then, but there's not many people out there that when they come into buy a new car, don't want it just as shiny and as presentable as it can be. There's not many that are very pragmatic and go, it's an older car, I'm not really that bothered about it. I say you are out there, but not many of you. So I said we go over the Polo profits. So the VW Polo paid £2,000 for it, probably a little bit high, probably should have been a bit less than that, but I don't think you got it less than £2,000 at auction. MOT repairs £257, MOT £50, the valet £100. He did the machine polish and did a wet clean on the seats, everything, didn't he? Headliner £59.19 from Amazon, a bit more than I thought it was. Glue £10.64, warranty £108, and fuel £20. I left 20 quid in the car for when I dropped it off because it was down to the last bar on it. Gives me a total of £2,617 spent, £74 I can claim back in VAT. Sales £3,700, margin is £1,688. So the VAT I have to pay the VAT man is £281. People always say, oh, but you can claim the VAT back on all your costs. Well, as you can see there, there's a very small amount compared to what I'm paying the VAT man, £281. And you'll see in a minute that he actually ends up making, he or she ends up making as much money as I do at the car. That gives me a net of £801. Add back in the VAT, £875. But that is obviously gross, well, EBITDA, earnings before tax, amortisation, and whatever that phrase means. If we say tax of about 40% on that, it's £350. Could be a bit less, but we'll say 40% for safety, in case I do really, really well. Not every car is a warranty claim, actually. I'll put it down to 100 because that seemed a bit full on 100. But what I'm saying there is for every 5 or 6 cars I send out the door, one's going to have a warranty claim on it that could probably easily run into £500. So if we add £100 in for that, maybe £75, £100 I think is a fair figure actually for that. And then overheads, each car sits here taking up a space. I'm paying rent, rates, electric, all that other kind of good stuff for. Put £100 in that. So I would estimate that the real true net value of the vehicle, the profit of the vehicle, true net profit of the vehicle was £325 actually physically going in my pocket. So, as you can see there, if someone tried to knock me even further down on that vehicle, it would just be a no-no. If I let someone have another, say, 200 quid off the car, bang, we're into making like 100 quid for all that time and effort. So, again, this just allows you to give you a bit of an insight as to, like, if you part exchange your car for £2,000 and you see it up for £4,000, just realise that isn't £2,000 in someone's pocket. And however many times I say it, someone still goes in the comments and goes, well, they bought my car for £1,000. I saw it go up on the forecourt for £5,000 and they made £4,000 out of it. It's just not the way it works. Everybody has to pay taxes, everybody has to pay for their buildings, their overheads, they have to pay for the labour and everything else that's done on the vehicles. So a lot of people say, oh, James, you don't count your time. Well, that's what I'm getting paid for my time. So for my day of doing the headliner on it, another day, let's say, of seeing the customer running back and forth, dropping the car off the 2 times I did. So let's say that's the 2 days I've got into the Polo is earning me £325. Yeah, that's pretty much the true net profit from that deal. Now, I personally, and I'll be interested in your comments down below, would say that as far as I'm concerned, when you're talking about those kind of margins on cars at that kind of price point, it should be law that 30 days, that car is out for 30 days. If they find faults within 30 days, bring it back, get it fixed, or get your money back. But after that point, on a 14-year-old car, nearly 100,000 miles, after you've had 1 month of driving the vehicle around, anything else that goes wrong with it wasn't a fault at point of sale. It's fair wear and tear for the age of the vehicle, and you need to crack on and start paying yourself. Because let's face it, in this market, the difference between £4,000, difference between this, or £3,700, difference between this buying off a dealer and private sale is probably only 500 quid. There's probably 500 quid difference between the two. But in one scenario, there's absolutely zero comeback. In the other, this person come back up to 6 months on the car or even further. So that's my personal opinion. It would be great if the law just started to say, like, there are other countries where it's over 10 years, over 100,000 miles. That's the score. But I don't see anyone fighting the case for dealers anytime soon. So with the Wrangler, you can see there's a bit of lacquer still clearing in the air there. I have keyed up Pete's paintwork, coated it with black gloss, which didn't give me the finish I wanted, so I then scuffed that up and I have lacquered over the top of that and blended it here. It's all going off at the moment. It's not the exact same black, obviously, because this is gloss black. I don't know what black this is, but it is just a gloss black. It seems to be a gloss black here. Once this is buffed up, it should be as shiny as this. Unfortunately, obviously, where the welding is, it isn't quite nice enough just to leave it in black paint. So we will put those checker bits over the top. We could sort that out by more grinding, more filling, more sanding and so forth. But we don't want to have a lot of time into this car. It's not hugely valuable. And, you know, it's probably a case of tidying it right up, quick turnover, small profit, get a fresh MOT on it. As Royston says down below, we'll see what happens with the rust side of things. Like I say, we know a couple of MOTs ago I had quite a lot of welding done, so hopefully not too much on that front. Tied it all up, and we'll see if Mrs. Chops falls in love with it. I told you she doesn't watch the videos. She doesn't know I've got it, and I've got it in 3 videos now, haven't I? She still doesn't know I've got it at the moment. So, right, we'll let that go off overnight, and then get those Pete's back in tomorrow. He couldn't come in today, so he's back in tomorrow, and he'll get those checker point bits done on it, and then I'll take it outside and give it the detail and the machine polishing side of things. Whether I'll get that done tomorrow or not, the way things are going at the moment, dramas left, right and centre, I don't know, but we'll see. It was nice to do a little bit of that today because I've just had so much normal stuff that's rubbish. I quite like just chilling out and doing a little bit of painting again. I think I need a business, I need to ditch the retail side of it. I just need to do trade cars, and then with the time it frees up, not having to do the cars retail, do projects like this, and then maybe just trade these out as well. Leave margin in them for other people. Because, yeah, just one of the days today, unfortunately. Turn those lights out, get a little hiatus for a bit, and things go very well for a while, and then it's just, I say to anybody, don't get into this trade if you can't deal with big peaks and troughs. Night, everyone. Just a quick reminder, the current raffle car is the Fiat Barchetta. That is up for grabs. I'll put the link in the video description down below. Tickets are just £2.50. If you don't want the car, you can have a £5,000 cash instead. And we are supporting Sophie's Legacy, the charity Sophie's Legacy from this one.